What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building, and no, I did not choose my last name, unfortunately. Hope you guys are all doing well, and from the title of this video, you already know what we are going to be talking about, and that is the Samsung Galaxy S10. Now, for those who don't know, this is pretty much common sense, but some people don't know this. Samsung always releases two phones every single year. That is the Galaxy S10 that came out earlier, and now it is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, which is supposed to come out August 7th, which they're announcing in Brooklyn, New York, in about a month. So we have all the leaks and rumors gathered right here for you, and the first thing we have to talk about is the design of this phone. Now, specifically with this phone, they're going to do a center hole punch cutout for that camera, which is very similar to what they did with the Galaxy S10, but instead of having it on the sides, on the left or the right, or specifically the left, they're going to center it right in the middle for that camera, which also brings up another interesting point about the design. Because that camera is going to be centered right in the middle of the phone, that means that there is no visible speaker for this phone. Now, this could indicate that they are opting to go for some kind of bone conduction sort of speaker thing, which would make it vibrate the phone in order to give off sound. Now, this isn't anything new. We've seen this in phones like the Xiaomi Mi Mix phones and other phones like that, which vibrate and do bone conduction in order for you to hear. So it would be interesting to see if they do decide to opt for that kind of technology in the Samsung Galaxy S10. Now, the other interesting thing that the renders and the leaks seem to point to is possibly the best thing about this phone. Considering all the specs and everything that could come with this, there will probably be no Bixby button on this phone. This is probably the best news that any Samsung user has heard in a very long time. Now, if you guys don't know what Bixby is Samsung's personal assistant that didn't exactly have the best reputation when it came out and still doesn't have the best reputation. They tried updating it, they tried make sure that you absolutely couldn't remap it and you could only use Bixby, which made people even more mad. There's just so many things that it lacks. The initiation was there and the idea was definitely there, but as far as the execution and overall results of Bixby, it completely and utterly just fell flat in every aspect, and it's sad to see that. But the good thing is it's not going to be on this phone, hopefully, fingers crossed. But on the bad note, there's possibly not going to be a headphone jack on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Now, this is very interesting, and I'm hoping this doesn't actually end up coming to pass. We are definitely starting to move towards that more wireless world. When Apple first decided to cut the headphone jack from their iPhone 7, pretty much every manufacturer after that has either thought about it or actually implemented that into their phones, and they've slowly started to just take away the headphone jack as we move toward more wireless and, Bluetooth 5.0 and everything like that. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they actually do decide to keep the headphone jack, but it is rumored to not be on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. As far as the internals go, we are looking at a 12GB of RAM Samsung Galaxy Note 10, and of course, since it's 2019, it's going to have those 2019 chipsets. We have the Snapdragon 855 as well as the Exynos 9820 for those who are not in the US. And as far as the resolution goes and the screen on this big beautiful display, we are looking at a 6.3 or a 6.66 inch phone. Now, we will also be seeing a 1440 by 3040 resolution display, and it's Samsung display, so it'll be beautiful. They're super AMOLED, very vibrant, very colorful, with nothing to worry about. I'm sure this screen is probably going to win the screen of the year again if Apple doesn't. Now, as far as the dimensions for this phone go, we have a 162.6 by 77.4 by 7.9, which would make it a larger body but a smaller screen than the Galaxy Note 9. So it's going to be interesting to see how this phone feels in the hand compared to the Galaxy Note 9. Now, here we move on to the second phone, and that is actually because Samsung is set to be rumored to release two phones this year, and that is the regular Samsung Galaxy Note 10 as well as the Note 10 Pro. Now, these specs that I'm going to be listing off are specifically for the Galaxy Note 10 Pro. We have a 6.75 inch screen with the same internals, the same pretty much basic specs as the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, but instead is going to have support for HDR10+. Now, for those that don't know what HDR10+ is, basically when they announced the Samsung Galaxy S10 in February, they announced this feature called HDR10+, which basically adds way more high dynamic range, and it makes the screen look way better, and it renders those pixels in real time to give you a way better image. And I'm guessing we're supposed to be seeing that in the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Pro. Now, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, the regular Note 10, is supposed to have a base storage of 128GB of storage, which is very good to see, especially since 64GB of storage as a base model is just not good enough anymore. But for that Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Pro, we are looking at a starting base model of 256 gigabytes and then easily goes up to that 1 terabyte of storage if you need it to be. Now, one very interesting thing about the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 is supposedly this will not have an SD card slot for some weird reason. Samsung has been notorious for always being able to upgrade that storage inside the phone with an SD card if you choose to do so. And it's very interesting to see that this Samsung Galaxy Note 10 probably won't have that feature as it's had it for so long, but the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Pro will have that feature. Now, I have one theory for this. I think the theory is Samsung realizes that their phones are very great phones and they are powerhouses and they do deliver in that productivity market, but not exactly everyone wants that. There are some people who are sort of in between that Samsung Galaxy S10 and the Note 10 lineup, and they sort of want something that's just in between, that's better than the S10 but not as productivity focused and just a powerhouse as that Note 10 is. So they sort of separated the Note 10 to a regular Note 10 and a Note 10 Pro, and that Note 10 Pro is supposed to be for obviously the pro users, those people who need that productivity, need that absolute monstrous phone to do everything that they need from that phone, which makes a lot of sense. But as far as the sales go and how well this phone is going to deliver, it's definitely going to be really interesting to see how well this stacks up against the competition, especially since the iPhones have yet to be announced, and the video for that is coming very soon. But it's going to be interesting to see how these two phones stack up against the iPhone later this year. Now, the cameras are going to be a vertically aligned triple rear camera along the back of this phone, and we are looking at a 12 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, as well as a 16 megapixel wide angle lens. Very similar and pretty much the same sensors and camera that we saw on the Galaxy S10 earlier this year. As far as the aperture goes, we're looking at an f1.5, an f1.8, as well as an f2.4 for these triple rear cameras on the back. And lastly, it wouldn't be a phone if we didn't talk about the battery. Now, the Note 10 Pro is supposed to be having a 4500 milliamp hour battery, which would make it way better than the battery on the Galaxy Note 9. Now, as far as charging goes, we're looking at either a 15 watt or a 45 watt fast charger. Now, I'm hoping they go for that 45 watt fast charger, because if they do decide to opt for that 45 watt fast charger, that would mean you would basically be getting from 0 to 50% in about 20 minutes. We know that Samsung is not have the best reputation as far as charging and batteries go, so I wouldn't blame them if they did not decide to go for that 45 watt fast charger, just because of the safety and the background that they have in that field. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that we have for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 as well as the Note 10 Pro. Now, I've already included what I think about this. I think it's going to be interesting to see where they split as far as the customer's decision goes with this Note 10 and the Note 10 Pro. But that's all I have for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you go down below, leave a like. If there's anything that I left out, if there's anything you want me to do a video on, leave a comment down below. I will leave the links to all the leaks and rumors and everything like that that I talked about in this video also in the comment box. So make sure you guys go look at that. And if you guys are new, make sure you hit that sub button, join Innovation Nation. And just like always, I will see you guys in the next one.